Hello, monkey. Ah. No. What was the timer? Anyway. Another week. 2 more weeks for Gamescom. And this week we will start with the physical attacks. Let me see. So currently our battles look like this. I can now attack with magical attacks. I can make magical defense shields and physical defense shields. The physical defense shield is currently useless, as it just lets all attacks phase through. But now we want to make this formation have physical attacks, so they jump to their targets and do an attack. After that, we will need a healing ability, maybe 2. A resurrecting one, a group heal. And then a complicated thing where there are status effects like sleep. And more complicated, confuse, which will need a different face, etc. Then we could also make multiple attacks for fire and lightning. The crystal could have a charging attack, the earth could have a charging attack, but then we should have covered all the attacks that could be in a way in there. Like there are then only variations probably. Of course there are more special things, but that would be the base for now. Then I would need to make it so that the summoner can be attacked. The summoner needs a different indicator, like shields, etc. We have to think about that, how to make it visible. We need evolution, we need item usage, and we need enemy AI to attack us. And not only that, we also need the enemy standard competitor with waves. So there's a lot of things still to do. But today, we start with this. Now where do we start? Firstly, our ARPlings need to be able to jump. Like if I go to fire attack, we see that they do a channeling thing, a charging, and then do the attack itself. So instead of the channeling, the ARPling needs to be able to jump to its target, and the jumping should be rather fast, like the channeling animation. So they are rather same-ish. Now I would think we need to generate some kind of spline, animate the ARPling along the spline, make a jump animation and a land animation, and then use its attack animation with the attack effects, and then make it jump back. Oh, I forgot, we also need to add a skipping functionality, which will come later. Which means we also need to clean up ongoing attack in a good manner, where the splines will also just get deleted. And the Orpling teleports back where it is while resetting the animations. A lot of things to do. Should we start by generating helper splines? Don't we have helper splines already? Initialize 2-point helper spline. No target. What does that mean? Source. Tangent and point. Oh, this one has like only a point. And it's not called target, it's called tangent. I see. But I believe we need a tangent to be able to tell the spline how flat it needs to be for the jump. Clean up spline helper. I guess we should add an input in our item router for now, where I can just press it and then generate a spline between two orb links in the closest point. Now, how do we even know what the closest point would be? Would I just go from the floor points with a radius? That could be the solution. Let's see. I guess for starters, I will just do this initialize 2-point helper spline and then see if a spline is actually getting created. Input router. Let's see. Up. Ouch. Not battle, no. Man, today I cannot concentrate. Yesterday I did not sleep at all. I think I went to sleep 6:30 and then I woke up 9 a.m. So I'm rather spent. Router. Now, key pressed should go to battle. And then, if it's not locked, and this is true, we go here currently. We have P and I, backspace. Maybe we should use P for this. Okay, let's build something here. Spawn actor. Helper spline. And then initialize 2-point helper spline with a 0 thingy. And now we need to get some orplings from our thingies. Find first battle controller. Cast battle controller. And then get competitor 1 and 2. This is the info instance, we need this instead. There we go. And now we need their front orpling, maybe the center one. Get center FE. Perfect. And now we say tangent is just, I don't know, 10 for now. Just to see if something happens. 10 up. And then get the location of these, which is of course not correct, but it should be fine for now. Get location, actor. And then with these, whoops, that's wrong. And then with these we can do this spline, I guess. Let's see if this works. Here. And then we need to visualize that spline too. I hope it's not getting cleaned up or something, but we'll see. I think this should be fine for now. So if can I visualize splines here currently? Spline. Good. Let's see. P. Uh-huh. So it does something, but the location is wrong. And the tangent too. Spline. So it got the first location, but the second one is wrong. It just says 0. Why? I mean, we can find that out by just going into... Oh, okay, one thing why it didn't go into a curve was because there was no Z factor. Now the question is why this doesn't give us a correct location. I just want to see if it makes a curve now. Spline. Again. Pressing P. I don't see a curve. What if we say 1000? Okay. Alright. Pressing P. Uh-huh. Interesting. This is completely wrong. Is this the end of the spline? No way. The dot must be just... Okay, where's our spline here? That's so strange. So here's endpoint and here's our endpoint. Why is this one here when I said tangent and not location? Is this normal behavior? Did I implement this wrong and then everything just goes with it? Oh, okay, I read wrong. Never mind. Source spline points, target spline points, source tangents. Let's say 100. Okay, now it should be fine-ish. I'm stupid. Yeah, like I said, I'm very sleepy today. I can't concentrate. Alright, so this can go. Spline. And we press P. But the location seems to be fine, but the wrong direction for the second one. And it can even do more. I see. So 100 is not good enough. And this needs to be a minus. Let's say 1000 here. Interesting. Let's do this again. Here, spline, and we press P. Now this is a too high arc. This needs to be flatter. Can I manipulate this and then see if we can do a better thing? It would be nice if we could select it. Spline. Okay, so didn't we see spline points before? What's going on now? Oh, there we go. So I believe this is the first point. But it's strange. No, this is our first point actually. Never mind. So that's the order is actually okay. Give me the spline, please. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. Spline. This one. So we select here. Now we could say leave tangent to be in plus minus x minus 1000, and we'll do it like this. Let's say minus 500, and then here 500. Is this better? I wonder. Minus 500, 500. Maybe also minus here. This looks finer. Maybe at 300 is the sweet point here. And I really don't care how far the jump is. But I think this arc looks like a pounce kind of arc. Like, okay, of course a strong pounce, but we don't need to be very realistic here. It just needs to be not too high, but we need to consider this is from the floor. So maybe it's still too high, actually. Let's try 200 here. Yeah, this could be it. Let's see. Alright, so the tangents need to have the direction multiplied by 200 and z also 200. So we need to calculate the xy directional vector, normal vector, and then multiply it by 200 in 2D. But not only that, we go from the origin point of the ARP-link, but we need to get to a gap to the target ARP-link. So let's get out our trusty paint here. So let's say we are here and the enemy is here. We jump from here, we do the arc, and then we want to land somewhere around here. We need to find out how much. We need to know how big an ARP-link can be, and then add that as from this point to the direction of the origin of the ARP-link, and then like half the size of the ARP-link and half the size of the attacking one. But we can just make it simple by adding one size fits all kind of gap here. It's fine. If it doesn't fit, we can always refine this algorithm, but I think it will not be necessary. We just need one gap that goes from that direction of the target points backwards to give us this X point. And then we can also use that directional vector to make the tangent direction too. Oh my god. I don't want to calculate, man. So the direction from here would be origin minus target, and then normalized. And from the other one it would be target minus origin. Do we need both? One thing we have to memorize is I don't know how in this manner the tangents need to be created, because the plus and minus things are not consistent. So from origin the z is always 200, and to the target this is minus, but the x, it stays minus on both sides, which is a little weird if you ask me. But I guess it's not local. I guess it's world rotation, or it is local and has it not on point based, which is probably not probably, which is correct. So I need to just think in a different manner. What is again strange is that the arrive and leave is the same. Maybe if I had another point in the vector it would be different, but here it is the same, which is fine. So the direction here is probably the arrive vector, and the other one is the leave vector. Because if we leave here, that would be for me though plus, and arrive would also be plus. So something is just a little different in my brain, but it still is consistently different. Okay, let's see. Let's drink something. Okay. So now, if this is from player 1, will this also work for player 2? That we will need to look, but I would assume if the origin point is reversed, this minus point will also needs to be reversed. Anyway, the z point is important. Starting point is plus, ending point is minus. So plus is going jumping, landing is minus. That's important to know. So let's start with the calculation. So the start point is correct. The landing point is not correct because we now need the direction minus some kind of size, which is, we said, origin minus target, which is origin minus target normalized and then multiplied by some size. Let's say for now 50. 50 will not be enough, but for our testing purposes it is fine. We say 200 and minus 200, and now we need to do the x and y split, which can be also this direction, which is a minus direction for both in this case. So if we just go and multiply this by 200, this should be fine. Float 200 x, y. This will never have a different z, so we are fine. And with that, are we missing anything? We miss this currently. So doing this, vector is going that. This is probably just adding it, right? Because it is a minus direction. So if we do this and then do this, we should be fine. Let's see what kind of spline we will get. I hope there's no big issue here. But the arriving thing there seems to be strange. This is 1. This is 0, which is our starting point. So the directional start is wrong. We have to reverse it. So either we say minus, or we multiply this by minus, which would be counterintuitive, because I believe this order is just wrong then. So let's... should we? I didn't check where it lands. That's maybe also an important point here. So the direction of the landing is correct. That we need to keep. So what if we just say minus 200 here? Oh, hello, Scene! Tell me about physical attack procedure. It's the visualization. It's more like... okay, the physical one is maybe misleading. It's not physics. It's magic versus physical. Like magical attacks versus physical, where it gets close and personal. So the Orpling needs to jump, do a fist attack, and then go back. That's the procedure. So in magical attacks, it's easy. We have a chanting and a charging, and then some magic happens. But for the physical attacks, the Orplings actually have to go to the enemy. Exactly. Or more like in Western RPGs, your strength versus your intelligence. Versus wisdom or spirit, and what is the defense? Just defense or dexterity, etc. All these things. Endurance. Yes, correct. Let me show you something. So currently I have implemented the magic attacks, as you know, and I have 2 different shields. So if I go to my earth shield, which is against physical attacks, it will look like this. Now earth is very slow, so the fighting or attacking round goes first. And then you will see that it creates a physical shield here, which is like this rock. Now, if we go again, you see there is this rock in front of us, and you would think, yeah, okay, it's a shield. But the problem is, magical attacks go through that rock and attack the rock while damaging your Orplings behind it. So it is useless against magical attacks. If you go to the magic side, you can make a magic shield instead that will cover you from magic attacks, like here. And then you have them both here, but they both will get attacked. The magic one here it stops the attack, and the other one just gets damaged without doing anything. Yeah, I know. I need to change the way my cinematics work. I need to be not rotating them 180 degrees. I need to make two different cinematics so that you stay always on one side and then don't get confused. But in the real game, the summoners will be different. You would know already who's who. Of course. You won't have magic melee. Maybe I could have. Like maybe there is an attack that has like some kind of mixed attributes. But right now I'm concentrating on the raw features or the base features for all the attacks to have a baseline, so to speak. I like how the battle intro animates with the UI popping in. Are you sure the popping in is good? Or do you mean the one that goes up? Well then thank you. But I think the shield one is maybe not that good. Yeah, glad to hear it. So yeah, right now this is the state. So the earth shield is useless. So I'm now making the physical attacks to see that the shield here can block them. But yeah, this is currently the how to say, our rock paper scissor kind of mechanic. Anyway, we were, excuse me, we were making splines. How's your game not going, man? Spline? Here. Spline. Oh my god, please. Spline. Okay. And then we press P. This is a 1, this is 0. So this is correct. Landing correctly. Now the question is, what happens if we change the target? This is the target. Now let's say left front instead. Will this work still? Whoop. Spline. Yes. P. And it seems to actually work. We just need to make the gap a little longer. Still neck deep in the dungeons, of course. It is something very complicated. I will be stuck on these battle refinements thing for months. Iterate on new ideas, on different ones. I see. So let's see. This seems to be fine now. I wonder if I need some kind of randomness, but I think this is fine. This one will jump here. This will jump here. Now the question is clipping a problem? If all three jump at one target, is that a problem? I think I don't want to solve that. I think clipping is fine. But let's make the gap a little bit longer. 50 is not enough. 75, 100, something like that. Let's see. Spline. Yes. Here it is. And then we imagine that there's a tomati here. So there's a little gap here. And I guess at some point, if I have very different sizes of orblings, I also need to add half of the size of the attacking and half of the size of the defending orbling here. If 3 attack at once, yes, I guess you can stagger the attacks. That's the problem. I think I want the animations to be fast. I don't want them to go round by round to stop, you know. I could maybe like find room for them, I guess. Like the leftmost goes here, the middle one goes here, and the rightmost goes here, or if there are no. We have to see if the clipping is really a problem. We can find a solution by shifting the position a little bit differently. But I think this is fine for now. We will have to see. But yeah, I think the spline is here now. What we have to do is make the jump animation very quickly. Make a quick fly over here. Land animation and then attack and then do the same thing backwards. I'm reminded of mechanical typewriters and how the QWERTY layout was designed to alternate hands. Huh, yeah. Right now, everything is based on a timed animation starter that starts them one by one by synchronizing their hit position. Like, I can show you maybe. It's maybe a little hard to explain. But essentially, I have this thing. Where is that thing? I'm not sure anymore. I think in the abstract. Let's see. Let's go to one real animation here. Let's say fire. So I have this time thing here for the fire animation. It starts with charging and then goes to amber effect, which is like the fire on the ground. Then we have the hit, which starts the calculation on the UI and does the hit animation, etc. Ability done is the cleanup stuff. And this RTP, this thing is the synchronization time. I have like a stacked animation where this RTPs in 3 attacks need to be successive. And I add kind of delay onto this time to start these animations or abilities in a manner so they go hit, hit, hit. So the UI also represents which one was firstly calculated, etc. Since I have a pre-calculation of my abilities, so I can calculate which of my orblings actually need to jump, etc. I need to synchronize which animation goes first. So the fanning of this thing, or your typewriter thingy, happens already. The problem is to make it for the physical would be a little, how to say, a special case I am not willing to tackle, because it would make everything extremely complicated here. But I think if there is 2 attacks at the same thing, I will just fan them out in position instead, so they don't land in the same space or close to the same space. That should actually work out. Now that we have the spline, what do we do now? Do I test it the other way? Let's say these 2 are exchanged. Does the algorithm still work? That is very important. Or else I need to multiply some kind of vector differently. And it works. Perfect. So the spline is now handled for now. All we need to do is create it, save it, clean it up after everything is done. So this is our template. Target versus... no. Target versus origin. And now we need to make a new thing here. Presets, abstract. And it's not single magic attack, it's single physical attack. Okay. So the pre-calculation isn't that important currently, which is okay. The calculation is of course wrong. I mean, we don't even need this. Should delete it here too. Interesting. Oh, man. Ah. Okay. Intelligence is wrong. Okay. Let's see. We are in physical attack. This thing is now defense, intelligence, should be strength. Strength. And the calculation itself is probably going according this to this HP soft damage. So I think I already did the most calculations already to just exchange the stats. So I believe this is actually working already. So the pre-calculation would happen. Well, we have to think. Oh, my god. This is the thing we have to be careful about now. This is just the position of the ability, which we don't care. What we do care is to create a helper spline. Do we have this in this abstract? If I have this in this abstract, will it be important in any other abstracts? Because this is the single attack one, but the multi-attack one would still be physical. It needs that jump. Oh man. Should I worry now or should I worry later? What makes more work? Should I do it in the abstract of everything? I should, because of the skipping. The variable needs to be in there. Yeah, the spline needs to be in there. The creation can be somewhere else, but the spline itself needs to be here so it can be cleaned up in a general manner. Or does it need to be? Because we can always override the cleanup functionality. Maybe not. Maybe this is stupid. But does a physical attack need another parent between it and the base abstracts? Is it important? Or can I even use this as a child? I guess it wouldn't be very clean. I think I just need to remodel when I have to do another physical attack to see what things need to be in a child, and then make a in-between abstract and then do it from there, because we also need the same thing in the magic attack anyway, I guess. So let's not think about it then. Let's just do this thing. Create spline from origin to target. Okay. We can copy this. Out the spline. Let's add it over here real quick. Of course, we need to delete this now and actually get some targets. Probably don't need this. Do we need to give this guy the sizes of target and origin? Okay, let's see. This is origin, this is targets. I don't like. So, let's do this instead. And then vector. And then size. Origin location. Target location. Origin FE size. Target FE size. And then in this function we also have some kind of default gap that always gets added on top. So origin location get one here, one here. Target location here and here. This stays as it is. No, it does stay as it is. And then this can get destroyed. Good. And now we need to calculate this thing. This. Do we say size or half size? Do we calculate the half size behind? No, we just say size and then just Actually, multiply by 0.5 here. And then add them together. And then add another standard gap, which is maybe 10 for now. I don't know. That goes in here. And now we have it. So, do we have ability cleanup? We do. Cancel time, cleanup effects, destroy actor. So cleanup. What's the cancel ability though? What does that do? Where do we even use this? Do we use this? Probably for skipping we will need this. I guess this can go. This needs to happen later. Valid. Destroy. And then do this. Okay. So what? Interesting. Now we need this. Ability animation trigger function. Where does this get started? Because the spline needs to be created before. We could do that in the pre-calculation if it determines that an attack needs to happen. How do we find that out? Probably here. No, not even here. Okay, the pre-calculation always happens because the targeting was set beforehand. That's fine. So if we have the pre-calculation, we can also say that the spline needs to be created. Just need the origin point, which is our Orpling, owning FE, location actor, get, and then target location is possible target, and it needs to be the first one. Where it jumps to. And then, for now, the sizes are 100, 100. And this will now make a spline. Of course, this thing cannot work. Should I do the spline at the end? Doesn't matter really, but let's do it at the end. Okay. Now we have that. I guess all single physical attacks will have their jump thing, or go to enemy, and then also a go to or go back, and some kind of attack. So one thing is this thing. And then we say, what do we do here? Jump. Jump to target. Jump back, or jump along. Jump, spline jump. Target. Spline jump back. Which both need to trigger an animation along that spline, which could be on event graph here. Could also be problematic as we need to clean these things up. So they need to be force shut down. Okay, before I fall asleep here, give me a little second here. Oh my god, I think this is the most terrible monkey I ever drew. But maybe I saved it. Be right back, monkey. And I'm back. Alrighty. So either I have a timer. No, I think a timeline is the easiest way to do this. Something like that, doesn't matter. Something like that. And then timeline. I mean, this will only trigger once before the actor gets cleaned up. Now the question is, how fast is this jump? Also, this cannot start before the animation is at the point where the jumping thing would happen. Because some orblings have a slower one than others. Uh-oh. This is a problem. Which means the synchronization will not work. If we have varying times, the synchronization cannot work unless I'm able to extract that information and add it into it. Where are we doing that currently? Not here. I think in the pre-calculation somewhere in the battle controller after the pre-calculation. Here. Not sure why we had this before, I forgot. But it was something here, I remember. But here's the calculation. So find ability latest hit. RTP. Where does that get set? It does get set every time because of the random delay. Where does that random delay come from here? It is obsolete. Are we still using this? Why did I say obsolete? It's not obsolete anymore. It is still in here. This is a little strange. We would need to add that varying animation. Thing on top of here. Problem is, I'm just not sure why I said obsolete here. Because this doesn't look obsolete to me. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. What? What am I doing? Is this, why is this working? So we get the ability relevant time point here. If the highest is smaller than the thing. What means highest? Ah, okay, we just find the highest. Ah, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. Because we are... we have a lot of times that go in here. And then this for each does this for every single one. No, it doesn't. Oh no, this is for every single ability here, right? This goes for every single ability and gets the highest. And then the highest minus the one from the highest would be 0. And all the others would happen earlier. So no, this is actually not obsolete. Not at all. Be right. Alright, I'm back. Ooh, where were we? Yeah, we were thinking about if we had varying jumping animations, that it would need to be added in here. Maybe I need another thing here. Like variable ability time or whatever. Could that be? No, it wouldn't work, because what if there is something before the jump happens? Can we add it into... So the latest time, but can we add something here depending on Orpling? And then we also need to maybe make it so that we can add it in a certain time. Should I consider this? I mean, I need to, because the jump animation can only finish, or is the jump animation always the same for every single Orpling? The speed, that is? It would make it odd. If I make it simple and add it as just some variable depending on what Orpling has this ability, or owning Orpling. Hey Uni, hello! Then we will run into the problem that any ability that has this with a jump whatever needs to have to jump immediately. Like the first animation would be the jump animation, nothing else. No charging, no pre something, always jump. We wouldn't be able to do anything else. So either I built something complicated that can tell when to add this thing in this thing, like if reached time and found whatever here. This is not ordered. This is not fucking ordered. I could tag them if contains, but then it could send some garbage into these things, which we could of course clean by go remove here, right? And then send that through. Oh boy. Is tagging the way here then? The problem is I would need to tag everything then. Unless I say ignore, then probably only a few items. This is so stupid. What I could do is, and maybe this is genius. Depending of this trigger time, if it's higher than some set point, we add this thing. Default is 0, which means it adds it on everything. Huh. Maybe this is the way to go. Do we have to add it 2 times then? Okay, problematic. So I could make it very specialized and say there are 2 times. If you reach 1, you have to add that delay in. And if you reach the second, you have to add it 2 times. I could also make some kind of array. This is hard. Oh. How would we make this more flexible? So if I had something like this, we could go with a for loop, or no, we could just have an index. No, we can't. We need to check every single one. So a for loop is needed with break. If smaller, and this always needs a default 1 in, which is 0. Or wait, if this is empty, it will just not do anything. So this time, oh, okay, how do we find out? This needs to be smaller or equal. Than this time. And if it's true, because if I say 1 second where the jump would happen, I want to add that delay in, right? I mean, yeah, the jump would have everything combined. Which means if we have 0 as a default, this will be also true, and then it will want to have that delay. And if there is a delay number, and how do we even know what delay number to take? This is very specific only for jump animations. I cannot make this flexible, because the time that we need to extract comes from the jump animation that we need to build. So maybe I don't need to make this flexible. Maybe I just need to add 2 numbers. And depending on how many are passed, we just add that time. Then again, how do we even get that time? The animation would need to tell us, unless we hard code it into the Orpling. This is messed up. Can the animation have this information? No. The moment the spline is started, the animation can still run while it is in that spline, so it needs a point. And where do we set that? Does the landing also need this? Which would be then 4 times to do this thing. I mean, does it really need to be 4? It just needs to jump and land, because then the attack happens and everything after the relevant hit point is not important anymore for the synchronization. I think I really don't care after. Should we overwrite this function in the physical attack? Or should we have a function here? Gets it from here? You could call this function here and call it Orpling animation specific delay with the time in, and then the function could do stuff. So this is our abstract, and that just gives us 0, which would not break anything, and we just override it after. With this. And then we just add that delay into there. And now, if you are in the physical thing here, Orpling is the wrong word here. And from here now we would need the visual actor would need that information. To what can we cast this? Is that a good idea though? Am I making things too complicated again? We can now have here jump and land animation times. But that would mean it would be in every single visual entity and probably not really clean. But does it matter? Does it matter? Where else could I add this information? I mean, this is probably also not correct. Aha. These we probably don't use anymore. Correct, we are not using them anymore. So we could rename these to old battle. So we know that when we delete the old battle system, we can delete these two. So we have it in here. The thing is, my solids would need to be an ARPling then too. Which they are not. Ah, they are just children of these. Okay, we can just add it here then. Perfect. This is kind of clean. Old. So I will manually put them on the ARPlinks instead of the jump or land asset as a tag. That seems to be like too specialized in that point. But now these are 0 and we can use them. Relevant jump time and relevant land time. So now, instead of having the visual actor in here, we can cast this into ARPling and then get jump and land times. We also need to know when these times get triggered. Like we need the jump trigger time and land trigger time. So in order to get this, find out if it's smaller or equal and then use these. And jump trigger time will probably always be 0. But maybe there's a time where that's not true. Okay. Which means we now also need to go to all the visual actors and set these things. Maybe I need to tag these with something. Maybe S as in set them. These are important. So, jump trigger time. If this thing is greater or equal than this. Same for the other. There we go. And this should do the calculation. And we probably don't even need this. Ta-da! Okay, this is not, of course, a problem. Let's do it like this. Alright, so if this is not getting implemented, it will just say 0 delay. Because it is handled here as 0 delay. And else we will add that in here depending on the set times. So default is 0, which will then make that jump animation while this sequence is happening, the spline jump thing is happening. But when we like forget it and then see it, we can just add numbers and then it will be fixed. So I think this is very easy to maintain if we don't have something complicated afterwards. But this should work for all physical attacks now. Now let's think. We need to go back on track now for these things. So this thing will be triggered with a delay, which is whatever comes from the visual actor. Single attack. Do we save it? Should we save it? Can we save it? Currently we have it here. Start animation time triggers. Could add it here maybe. Oh, this needs to be in here. It's important to call it relevant because it's not the complete time. And then in here we can set these. Should we just call this instead? Maybe that's enough. Maybe you don't need these. Let's do that. Just a call, so... So depending on the jump animation, which will be different times depending on a small little jumpy rabbit versus a hulky orc, we will have a delay here. Same goes here. Like that. And now we can think about how long that jump will be. This is wrong, by the way. This is just the jump back, which means it needs to start with the jump again. And the land is actually different. But the timelines are the same. Timelines need to be the same, but they need to go different ways. I guess I could have made them into one singular function, but I guess this is easier to handle. Let's see. Track, float. I feel like 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2. It's 0.5 seconds for me. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yeah, this is way too slow. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Maybe even 0.3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yes, it's 0.3. Like that. So now the spline will be traversed in a very fast manner. We need to do the same thing in the opposite direction. Oops. This is 0, 1. 1, 0. No. 0.33. Okay. So these three handles. Now depending on where we are, we also need to start the landing maybe we need a maximum landing time. And then we can say maximum landing time minus relevant landing time. And then when we reach that time from the end, we can start the landing or something like that. But for that, we need to also make sure that the landing can never be longer than the spline animation itself or something. I guess the landing we have to look specifically into. But for now, owning FE set actor location. We also need to change the rotation when we jump, so to have the direction correctly. I guess. It needs to save where it is. Oh man. Okay, whatever. I think I will do these things then tomorrow. We have a solid start here now. Alright, everyone. Lurkers, thank you. Everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye, monkey.